This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Thanks to our listener in Minneapolis this morning. It says, hey, fellas, listening from Minneapolis, Minnesota this week. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, if you got the Mall of America up there, and you got their smash burgers. I think is what they're known for up there.
Is that what they're known for?
I think that's one of the things they're known for. Yeah.
I did not know that. I'm a fan of the smash burger.
Yeah, I think that's where we got, the 2019 Final Four. I think they've been doing smash burgers in Minneapolis way before anybody was doing smash burgers.
Okay. Well, but we have those in Texas too, right?
Yeah. No. Then this has got the one, and then they got the ones with the cheese inside. What do they call those? And they have a special burger up there too.
I don't know.
Okay, they've got something up there that they're really pleased with themselves for. How about Red Raider soccer? You heard Jeff Haxton's report on the Red Raider Daily Update, but they get to advance on, and they get to take on the number one team in the country now, or the number one seed, I guess, in Duke on Friday. So, but looked like they had a great crowd and a good victory, and so that's what more can you ask for, right?
Yeah, survive and advance.
Right.
Survive and advance. Give yourself a chance against clearly a really good program in Duke. And that should be exciting and fun for the squad and all that good stuff. Fun for Coach Stone to go back to his old stomping grounds and all that good stuff. But it was great to see them get a win at home. So finish out their home slate with a victory and move on. That's the important thing.
Oh, somebody reminds me, the Juicy Lucy. That's what they're known for up there.
The Juicy Lucy. Does Smash Burger make the Juicy Lucy?
No. I think I just got them confused. Juicy Lucy is what I was. Juicy Lucy is what I was looking for. The Juicy Lucy is what they're known for up there. And
is that a restaurant chain, or is that what the burger is called?
The burger is prepared by putting cheese between two patties of meat and then sealing both patties around the cheese to create a single patty with a cheese core. As the burger cooks, the cheese melts inside.
Okay.
Yeah. A couple people. Everybody knew but me. I knew there was something, but Juicy Lucy is what they call it. Yeah.
Okay.
Would that
so I don't have to give Minneapolis credit for Smash Burger anymore?
You don't.
Oh, okay.
No. Juicy Lucy is what they're known.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Would you?
Yeah, it's a burger with cheese.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Burger with cheese and cheese inside. Yeah. All those kinds of things. So yeah. So soccer gets to go to the land of Duke and see the Tom Stone Wall, where he's infamous and
That's
famous.
Cool. I'd like to see it.
I would too. I've asked for a picture, so I want to see what it looks like.
Who did you ask?
The Minister of Information for Texas Tech Soccer, who also is the Minister of Information for Texas Tech Baseball. Our friend Andrew Stern. So we'll see if he remembers.
Okay.
So I've asked to. I said, while you're there, see if you can get a picture of Coach Stone's wall. I thought that would be kind of cool just to see. Not that I'm going to frame it or anything. I just want to see it, see what it looks like.
That's the first picture of a stone wall you probably asked for.
Yeah, right.
Do they call it Stonehenge or anything like that?
I don't know. I don't know. That was good though. That was probably as good a joke as we're going to hear on this station or stations that we have today.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. What did you make of BYU going down? It certainly tightens up and Kansas State for that matter in the Big 12 because that kind of ends it for them as far as getting to the Big 12 championship game.
I thought they both looked horrible. Just horrible. Mm-hmm. Both teams looked horrible. It is what you find out is we know these guys are really talented and really good, and No matter what team you're talking about in the Big 12 Conference, but they're 18 to 21, 22. Your Tyler Shucks 26-year-old kids, and
Right.
and you just don't know what you're going to get from them all the time.
Whoa.
I feel like college athletes are just so much less predictable than professional athletes, and that makes sense. I'm not breaking any news there, but it's just I thought both teams looked terrible. I mean, it was I don't know. I mean, feeling like guys that were close to the finish line here. We got this wrapped up, and man, both teams. Kansas State probably worse. Just the beginning of that game, they just dug themselves such a hole. But you just expected BYU watching the game, like, okay, they're going to turn it on. They're going to be the team that they've been, and give Kansas some credit for that, and give Arizona State some credit for that. But I just thought both teams couldn't get out of their own way. Yeah,
I mean, I was shocked when I got done with the Lady Raider game on Saturday night and looked at the score for K-State and Arizona State, that it was 21-0 at the half. It's like, and then they start off the third quarter with the ball and they score, so they're up 24-0, and then don't score again the rest of the game.
Yeah, didn't need to.
I guess not. Didn't need to. And then with Kansas and BYU, it looked at times like BYU was going to take advantage of what they had, and right there before the half they throw an interception in the end zone, and they go in tied at half at 10-10, and they just couldn't put themselves in a spot to win. And Kansas had at times looked like they were going to put it away, but they couldn't either. But just a bunch of punts at the end, and then KU gets another interception, and that was it as far as the ball game was concerned. And so tightens up the Big 12. BYU goes to 9-1 on the season, and K-State probably done with their hopes of getting to the Big 12 championship game.
You folks out there that are more positive than I am, I mean, just watching those games, the negativity came to me of we had such an opportunity.
Yes.
Such an opportunity, and I hated feeling that way, but just right there in front of you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Realizing that it could be you on top. Absolutely could be you on top.
Yeah.
Really stinks to think about it.
6:40 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for This Day in Sports History. Today is November the 18th, 2024. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Starting in 1949, National League batting leader Jackie Robinson, who hit .342 for the year, wins the National League MVP.
Nice.
1964, Baltimore Orioles third baseman Brooks Robinson wins the American League MVP. 3 years later, in 1967, Chuck Heinz was smiling somewhere.
Why is that?
With 31 seconds left, Kenny Vineyard makes a 37-yard field goal to help Texas Tech beat Baylor 31-29.
So I was smiling somewhere.
Last second field goal.
Yeah.
Well, last minute field goal.
Last minute.
1970, Johnny Bench wins the National League MVP. 1987, quite possibly my favorite MVP award went out. Chicago Cub Andre Dawson is the first player from a last-place team to win an MVP.
Oh, how about that?
2 years later in 89, James Gray runs for 234 yards and, count them, 4 touchdowns, giving him a Southwest Conference career best 50 to help number 20 Texas Tech rally past SMU 48-24.
Nice.
In 97, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, never should have changed their name, had their expansion draft.
They're going to play at the Yankees spring training home there in Tampa.
They are.
So
those Yankee folks are such kind people.
They're kind people. That probably doubled the rent for them, but that's okay.
Probably so.
You want to play here? Your stadium's not available? Let's see. Normally the price, it's this now.
Every player must come in and kiss the toes of the George Steinbrenner statue or something before they can play.
And in 2006, Texas Tech rallies from 17-0 with 27 straight points. And Robert Johnson scores twice in a 30-24 win over Oklahoma State.
Good day.
Happy National Apple Cider Day.
Nice. Do you like some apple cider?
I'm okay with it. It's not something I'd want every day.
No,
but
right. Occasionally, yeah.
If I have my choice between hot chocolate and apple cider, I'm taking hot chocolate every time.
Okay.
But they are both very much I want them when it's cold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lots of birthdays today. Owen Wilson, 56. Caleb Williams, 23. David Ortiz, 49. Megan Kelly, 54. Gary Sheffield, 56. Jamie Moyer, 62. CJ Wilson, 44. Sam Cassell, 55. Jason Williams, 49. And a man who could probably still throw it 60 yards in a perfect spiral, Warren Moon, is 68 today.
Wow, 68 for Warren Moon. Okay.
And on this day, 1999, we make fun of these guys a lot here, and rightfully so. However, thousands of logs stacked 59 feet high for a massive pre-football game bonfire collapsed at Texas A&M University, killing 12 and injuring nearly 30 in an avalanche of timber. At approximately 2:42, students were working near the top of the 59-foot high pile, which was 4 feet higher than was authorized, when, in the words of Jenny Calloway, a student at Texas A&M who was on the stack, it just snapped. Without warning, scores of students became caught in the huge log pile. Other students, including Caleb Hill, who suffered only broken bones in his 50-foot fall, were lucky enough to fall away from the pile. That, this day in sports history.
What year did you say that was, Jeff?
1999.
Yeah, it's 25th anniversary today. Yeah.
There are a group of them who are buried about 25 yards away from where my mom is buried.
Mm-hmm.
So I have seen that memorial, and it is impressive. But it is very sad that it had to be made.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, time for our lucky local winning word. Your chance to win some cash from us in the Home Zone. They're making your house a home every day but Sunday at 50th in Indiana. It's an interesting word. It's not really one that you would use all the time, but it's a sports term. It's a term that I think a very select few use a lot. Strings. Strings is the word. My strings need restrung. Right? My tennis racket needs to be restrung with the new strings. Mm-hmm. Okay, so strings is your word. S-T-R-I-N-G-S, strings. How are the strings in your rackets? Are they tuned up? Do they need?
No, they're good. I don't use that. I don't have to get them restrung very often because I don't hit hard and I don't hit with a lot of spin. So my strings stay intact.
Is that done because of just your ability, or
lack of?
Are you trying to be?
No, I'm not trying to be economical.
I didn't know if Mrs. Lent had you on a string budget.
No, lack of. I would prefer that I be better and they burn out quicker.
How about the college student tennis player in your house?
She has to have them done way more than I do.
Way more than you. Yeah. Dad, I need new strings. Yeah. Dad, I need new strings.
Not because she hits hard, but because she hits with spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's being very judgmental here with regard to this day in sports history is the date, not day of the week. Date. Like November the 18th. Yes. Isn't really on this date in sports history. I mean, these things probably didn't happen on a Monday. Right. Most likely they did not, but they happened on November the 18th.
Yeah, 1 in 7 chance they happened on a Monday.
Yeah, right. We can go back and tell you which ones.
No, we can't. You can.
Yeah.
Not we. You.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the time. One of the gals playing for Washington State on Saturday, her number was 13, and she chose 13 because she was born on the 13th day of February, I think 2004, I think was her birth date, and it was a Friday. Okay, so 2/13, and it was a Friday. I did take the time to look that up. I was like, she wears number 13 because she was born on February the 13th. And I went, wow, I wonder if that was a Friday. And it was a Friday the 13th. Let's see here. Yates Flooring Center chat line. Chuck, who's a bigger disappointment? Texas Tech and everyone talking about how we can run the Big 12 without Texas and Oklahoma, or the Dallas Cowboys?
Oh, it's
not even close. Yeah.
I mean, even though we feel like missed opportunity, you're still where you are right now, ahead of where you were picked in the preseason polls for the Big 12. I mean, the Cowboys are a mess.
Yeah.
And not just their win or loss record, but the drama on and off the field.
Yeah, they're just...
the team is I don't know. That just feels like a team that's ready to combust if it hasn't already.
Yeah, it feels like a joke, to be quite honest.
Yeah. I mean, the Red Raiders are what? I mean, they're on pace to finish above 500 in conference play for the third straight year.
Well, they will, because they've won 5 games.
They've already won 5, and I thought they were 4-3 in conference play.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they are 4-3 in conference play.
Yeah.
You got 2 games left.
Two games left. Yeah. So, I'd be really surprised if you lost your next 2. So you're going to finish. I mean, I'm not telling you to write home to mom about it, but you're going to finish probably somewhere in the, with all the tiebreakers, anywhere from 6 to 8 or 5 to 8, whatever, something like that, most likely, which is above where you were picked. So, I mean, does it feel like a huge missed opportunity, though? Absolutely it does. Absolutely it does. But it's nothing close to what the Cowboys got going on.
No. It's a much bigger disappointment here. And especially when you look at the TCU game and the Baylor game, and then even the Colorado game, you had a chance to win too. And given the fact that you won a couple of games on the road, you couple all that with what you've done at home, and it's just disappointing, without a doubt.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
The year is 2030, and Alan Bowman is the starting quarterback for your Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Don't tempt him.
Don't worry about Oklahoma State, Chuck. They'll have a get-right game against Tech, just like everyone seems to. Wow.
Oh, man. That's good. That will really sting if it happens.
Yeah. Really, really sting.
I think I'll just be, I still think that the majority of the fan base is still fully behind Joey Maguire. Mm-hmm. And I do think there are some people that are already out. I think that's a minority. And I think there are people on the fence. You would feel like a loss like that to Oklahoma, to a winless Oklahoma State team would, because it's also a team that we hate losing to, would push some people off the fence one way to the opposite way. There would be more fans that would be like, all right, this is the one that really frustrates me. This one breaks the camel's back. Not that they can do anything about it, but just feels like this would be a really bad one to lose.
Yeah, more so than if you win Saturday and then lose to West Virginia.
West Virginia doesn't look like a terrible football team.
Yeah, and they had a loss to Baylor. Looks like Baylor's getting stronger and stronger, and Baylor has already announced that Dave Aranda is going to be back next year.
Yeah. I mean, again, their only losses in Big 12 play are to the teams that are currently in first, tied for first, and tied for third. Right?
Yeah, so they lost at Colorado 38-31 in overtime. We all know how that went.
Should have won.
Should have won that game. Lost at home to BYU 34-28.
That game could have gone either way.
Yep. The 2 stinging losses for them at Utah, but that was early on. That was Utah. That was a non-conference game, I believe. But they lost to Utah 23-12. And then the loss to Iowa State 43-21. And since that game, they've won 4 straight.
Yeah. Yeah, the Utah one was a non-conference loss.
Yeah,
that was a non-conference loss. Yes, but and the Iowa State game, I mean, it was close early in the fourth quarter, and then it got away from them. It just, I'd kind of forgotten about that Utah game just because it was non-conference, but. They didn't play great, and they didn't look good in that game at all. Yeah.
And who knows? If they beat Colorado, does that help them against BYU at home? You would have to think so, right?
Maybe it makes them more confident, and they play terrible. Who knows?
Yeah, and also they kind of got solidified with Sawyer Robertson as their quarterback.
I think that's the best thing that's happened to them. Mm-hmm. I mean, their offense is explosive.
Yeah.
During the broadcast, they talked about that on Saturday, where the coaches have said it was. I mean, we took a step forward when we had the injury and Sawyer took over, and then the offense has been different.
Yeah, because
good for him.
The quarterback before that was
the worst part about it is I find myself rooting.
Finn.
Yeah, I find myself rooting for Baylor because of Sawyer.
Yes, I agree.
And I find myself, I was watching that game, pulling for Baylor.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on?
Somebody had asked earlier if we had recruited Sawyer Robertson here, and because they said, is it true we didn't recruit Sawyer because he wanted to play baseball? And that, I don't know what the total dynamics were. I just know that he wanted to go play for Mike Leach. So, he wanted to go play for Coach Leach at Mississippi State.
Yeah, I feel like that was like a done deal from the very beginning.
Yeah. So I don't think that was, I'm not sure that you could have done anything aside from go and hire him to be your coach if you wanted to get Sawyer. And he didn't. It's not like he lit it up there. I mean, it was, he was there a year, and then Coach Leach passed away, and then he transferred and went to Baylor, and it kind of looks like now he's starting to thrive, and they're rolling. They'll play Houston on the 23rd. So that's this Saturday, right? Yeah, this Saturday they'll play Houston in Houston, and then they finish up with Kansas at home. And right now, I mean, Kansas still needs 2 more wins to become bowl eligible. And as far as Baylor, they're bowl eligible right now, but they certainly could improve their lie with a couple more wins, salvage their season. So that's a deal where after the Iowa State game, people wanted Dave Aranda's head on a platter, and now he's won 4 straight.
Yep.
So
and they have the same exact record as you do, and they beat you head to head.
And they probably feel a lot
beat you badly head to head.
And they probably also look at their season and go, well, what if, right? At this point, but maybe not. Maybe they're like, okay, maybe
they probably do because of those games were so close with BYU and Colorado.
Yeah. They should probably go back and look at that.
And that's all part of like the frustration as a Red Raider fan, because it just feels like this conference is wide open this year. I credit BYU and Colorado. I mean, they've been the most consistent, right? And that's why they're at the top. Colorado look like they've just kept getting better and better and better as the season has gone along. And BYU just had that one slip up there this past weekend, but I mean, everything's still in front of them.
Yeah, but here's
win games, and they're playing in the college football playoff.
Here's a potential play-in to the Big 12 championship game Saturday, because BYU plays at Arizona State, and Arizona State's 5-2.
They're right there, yeah.
They're right there. I mean, they beat BYU, and then they have a head-to-head win.
Yep.
And then they finish up. BYU does with Houston, and Arizona State will finish up at Arizona. So, and Arizona's not had the year that they thought they were going to have.
There's no question.
So they probably look at this even worse and go, wow. Look at our season. We're 4-6. They may not even make a bowl game. They play at TCU, then Arizona State. So that's a pretty rough stretch for them. Meanwhile, for Colorado, this week they'll take on Kansas at Arrowhead in Kansas City, and then they'll play Oklahoma State to finish up. So, at this point in time, Iowa State still has a chance. They've got 2 losses, obviously one to Texas Tech. They'll play at Utah and then Kansas State. And now K-State with 3 losses, seemingly out of the Big 12 contention at this point.
Yeah, another weekend of, I think, entertaining Big 12 games and coming up in front of us with that BYU game in Tempe against Arizona State. You got the Colorado and Kansas game, what that means for Kansas and what it means for Colorado. And then I look at Cincinnati and Kansas State. That one's interesting to me as well. See which one kind of bounces back.
Yeah, because K-State obviously very disappointed with what happened to them on Saturday night. And, I have a hard time believing that Kansas offensively can keep pace with Colorado. I just think Colorado's just too explosive. And they'll finish with Kansas and Oklahoma State. So I kind of expect them to win it out at this point, Colorado.
I would expect that as well, but, you just never know. We've seen that plenty in the Big 12 this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and who knows, it'll be the most Big 12 thing ever right now to maybe have a 3 or 4 way tie and you have to get out your tiebreakers.
Super fun.
Super fun for that.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go, gentlemen. We're talking Big 12 football here.
Okay.
Very simple questions for you today.
Oh, well.
Who plays in the Big 12 championship game, who wins it, and who goes to the college football playoff? Could be more than one.
Could be.
Who plays in the Big 12 championship game, who wins it, and how many and who advance to the college football playoff out of the Big 12?
Okay. I'm going to tell you that Colorado plays in the Big 12 championship game. I believe at this point in time that their opponent is Arizona State. I think BYU won some games magically, and they finally kind of had that bubble burst on Saturday. And so it's not like the secret is out about them. It's just their luck ran out. And then I think Colorado advances on to the college football playoff, and the Big 12 just gets one team in the college football playoff, and it's Colorado.
Okay. Jeff?
This is tough because the two teams that I think are going to be playing Colorado in the Big 12 championship game, I think Colorado's one of them, play each other this week. So who do I think is going to win that game this week between BYU and Arizona State? I think BYU's going to win that game, and that will be the elimination game for Arizona State. The Big 12 gets one in the college football playoff.
And it's
Colorado.
Okay. Yeah, I'm this is I think you guys are on the same page as me. This BYU Arizona State game is going to decide who the other team is against Colorado. I'm with you guys in thinking no matter who it is, Colorado wins and advances to the Big 12 championship game and is the only one that makes the college football playoff. And I think I lean towards BYU bouncing back this week. I do think they're a good football team. I don't think it was magic that they got themselves to 9-0.
They had a lot of magical moments that helped them.
Okay, well, every team that's good has some magical moments, right? Yeah, I think they're a legit football team. I don't think they won with smoke and mirrors.
Okay.
So I think BYU beats Arizona State this weekend on the road. I would not be shocked at all for Arizona State to win because I think they're a good football team too.
Okay. Well, do your research because that's going to be one of our games for Upon Further Review on Friday.
Okay. BYU. Okay. Go ahead and write that down.
Okay.
Same thing.
Okay, I'll put you down. All right.
Yeah.
So right now, if you look at the college football playoff projections, this is Jerry Palm's version of this. He has Boise State as a 4 seed, as opposed to a Big 12 team being a 4 seed. Which, previous to this week, the Big 12 had one of the top 4 seeds, one of the byes, but now he's got Boise State in there, which the last time out in the college football playoff projections, they were They were 12th by the committee, and they were ahead of Georgia. Georgia's going to be in the.
Where was BYU ranked? Not seeded, but ranked. They ninth.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't have that. I don't have that down.
I feel like it was ninth.
Let's see. I think I can tell you in the top. The new top 25 is out. So let me tell you where they are right now. In the new top 25, they're ranked. This is Associated Press. They're ranked 12th. Okay. The top 4 teams are Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, and Penn State. Then Indiana, Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Miami, and then Boise State.
I would
BYU's down to 14th.
Yeah, I would think that Boise is going to be ahead of either BYU or Colorado.
Yeah.
And so that's why they're going when the playoff rankings come out. What do they come out Tuesday nights? Is that still the deal, or is that different now? I don't know. Whenever they come out.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that will get them that number 4 seed. So the Big 12 team, will not be one of the top 4 conference champs, and ultimately they will be seated in there instead of getting those first 4 buys.
Do you think that there, like, let's just say a conference had 2 teams that were ranked higher than everybody else? Do you think the Big Ten or the SEC should get 2 teams that would have a bye?
I would be fine with that, yes.
Yeah, me too.
I think you should get what you
earned.
What you earned, and not. Yeah, I don't think it should be. I don't like the highest ranked, non-Power 4 school guarantee, but at this point, Boise State's earned it.
Yeah.
If the college football committee has them ranked inside the top 12, they've earned it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe they don't earn the seeding that you speak of.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, you have to question a little bit, Chuck. You're in the boat where because we know one Big 12 team is going to get in.
Right.
But when they do the rankings tomorrow night, is there going to be a Big 12 team in the top 12? No.
Yeah.
No, there's not, right?
I think Colorado would be in the top 12.
You think they'll be in the top 12? Weren't they?
They're in AP. They're 14th right now.
Okay. Well, weren't they 17 or something?
Probably so. Yeah.
Are they going to jump up with a win over who did Colorado beat this weekend? I'm forgetting.
Hang on a second. I'll tell you.
Somebody terrible.
Colorado beat Utah this past weekend.
Utah. You think they're going to jump into the top 12?
No, probably not. Yeah.
So the Big 12 is not going to have a team in the top 12, yet they're guaranteed a spot. It's us who's getting the gimme spot.
Right.
It's not some non-Power 4. Boise right now has earned it.
Right.
We have not.
Right.
The Big 12 is not.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like this conference is very mediocre. I am not one who thinks that, we're way better than everybody thinks we are. I do not believe that.
For as high as we feel about Big 12 men's basketball, we can't even come close to justifying kind of where we are as a conference in the football ranks right now, as you sit here today.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Today on Lubbock Sports Station, and each and every day on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Come to you from the First United Bank studio, and look forward to hearing from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line and the Double T 97.3 mobile app. The lucky lady and I Friday night went to an event at the Ranching and Heritage Center, Jamie, and I met 2 Morning Drive listeners there, unsolicited by me. And I don't just walk around and go, hey, do you hey. Met Paul, who was the cook for this event, and he works over at Texas Tech in the veterinary school. Okay, that's his big time job. And then I met a new friend, Charlie. We were sitting at his table with him and his wife, and he's a listener as well. So anyway, just trying to keep spreading the word and spreading the banners, and then when people share with me, I want to make sure I share with you so that you know that people are really tuned in to us on a daily basis, and new people all the time.
Well, that's good. We appreciate them.
Yeah. Washed up guy, whom I talked to last week at the Red Raider game. He said, I appreciate Coach McCaslin pulling off less than stellar teams. What would scoring 100 points on Arkansas Pine Bluff or Wyoming or some of these other schools prove? And it doesn't prove anything, but I will say this.
At the same time, when guys get into the game that are third string or whatever, that don't get much playing time,
Sure.
you want them to be able to. You don't want them to be out there running four corners.
Right.
You know,
Right,
you want them
right.
to be able to try to get out there and compete. And
Yeah,
show
they're
what
trying
they
to run
can
the
do.
offense and they're getting the box score in a positive manner, not for turning the ball over or getting
Right.
a foul or
For
something.
them, it's an opportunity to perform well and maybe earn yourself, get the bump from the third string to the second string or something, get more minutes.
Do you think if I went down and told Coach McCaslin before the game, hey,
No, is my answer.
my little 4-year-old little phenom really wants you to get to 100? Do you think that maybe sometime, maybe an afternoon game or something when he's there, that they would, okay, let's get to 100 for the little phenom up there in the upper deck? No, probably not.
I think he would probably say security. Security?
How does this man have any kind of access close to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll have Tech and Arkansas Pine Bluff tonight at 6, play-by-play at 7 from United Supermarkets Arena. Cowboys and Texans tonight. They will play the kicks at 7. We'll have coverage at 6. Would you like to see a full complement of Trey Lance? Just, hey, Trey, no matter how bad you are, you're playing all 4 quarters tonight.
I would not hate that at all, Chuck. You mentioned it earlier, and I thought, man, you know what? That's a good idea. That is a good idea.
Kind of see what you got, so to speak.
Quit pretending you're going to try to make the playoffs, because you're not. Okay? Figure something out. Don't make this season a complete waste of time.
Yeah.
Okay? See if you can figure out if this guy is worth keeping around or not.
Yeah, and because it doesn't it just feel like doesn't it feel like this regime is over at this point in time too?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean,
so it's Jerry figuring out if he's worth keeping or not. Really, not
Mike McCarthy.
Not McCarthy and his staff.
Yeah, and Jerry's probably unlikely to admit that he's made a mistake with Trey Lance. But at some point in time, you got to. And then the other thing you got to kind of wonder is, you're going to be able to sign Micah Parsons, and how much do you use him over the next 7 weeks?
Well, I mean, why would you not use him all the time?
Well, I mean, you want to use him as much as you can, but I mean, he's been dinged up and injured, and all those kinds of things. So
this is one of the things that just wears me out about the Cowboys. Every time we talk about the Cowboys, we're talking about somebody's contract.
Right.
It feels like.
It does. It does, because
always a conversation. Why when we talk about the Rangers or the Texans, is it not that way all the time? But it's always that way with the Cowboys. It's always something about something off the field.
Well, because they're
because it's
a
been
mess.
26 years since they did anything on the field.
It's because they're just a mess. How about you, resident Cowboy fan? Would you like to see Trey Lawrence tonight? For the most part,
Trey Lawrence?
Who's Trey Lawrence?
I mean Trey
Lance.
Trey Lance. Yeah, Trey Lance.
I want to see Joey Lawrence.
That would.
tonight.
Whoa!
How about Trey Lance? Sorry, that was just a moment there. I've frozen time.
I don't care. If we see him, great. If we don't see him, I'm fine with that too. You're not winning this game. You're probably not winning many more games the rest of the season. Well, I said at the beginning of the year that if the Cowboys don't make the playoffs this year, they're not going to make it the next 4. Because that's what when Dak Prescott's contract kicks in. And I don't see them making the playoffs this year. So there's a big, giant white flag hanging on underneath my Cowboys flag right now.
I mean, I truly feel bad for. I mean, we have plenty of Cowboys fans in the building that are loyal, passionate Cowboys fans, like Jeff and Jen and Joyce. And I mean, I truly feel bad for them. Like, I had a Cowboys fan say to me yesterday, "Hey, they just need to tank this season, and maybe they can get Shador." Okay. Okay. Well, you still have Dak in that contract.
Yeah. They need some offensive linemen.
I would love for the Cowboys to go with a new young quarterback.
I'd pray for it.
But you can't.
But you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, yes, you're exactly right, Chuck. Take an offensive lineman, take it whatever instead. But you can't. You're just you're stuck. Mm-hmm. And it feels like there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And
you're trading away picks to get receivers for a team that isn't going anywhere this year.
Yeah.
And it feels like you just need to start over. Like, okay, we need to rebuild. We need to start over and rebuild.
And that's the problem.
But you can't do that with a $60 million a year quarterback.
And Jerry will never say they're rebuilding.
Yeah, because he would admit that this move with Dak was a huge mistake. I mean, I truly feel bad for Cowboys fans. It feels like your team's not put together well, and you're tied to it for 4 years.
I see maybe 2 wins left for this Cowboy team this year. The Giants on Thanksgiving Day, and then at Carolina on December the 15th. Other than that, I think you're not winning much more than that.
Giants have announced they're benching their quarterback.
Yeah.
Another mistake.
I mean, that's
not to bench him, but to re-sign him.
Yeah, absolutely.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.